story this hour. Today marks the end of the long-awaited ANC Youth League elective conference. Members are currently nominating additional members to the league's NEC while we wait for President Cyril Ramaphosa to wrap things up. Reporter Moloko Moloto is on the ground and joins us this evening for more. Moloko, we did see President Cyril Ramaphosa arriving earlier, so it looks like he will be waiting for quite some time before he can close proceedings at the conference in Nasrec, because you say there needs to be a total of 60 names that are put forward in terms of nominees for the National Executive Committee of the ANC Youth League, and currently we're sitting on 43 names. Tell us about the developments there at Nasrec and really why we're seeing a delay, which we hope would have stayed within the mother body and not filtered through to the Youth League.
Hello, Rofua. Well, indeed, the delay is due to the fact that the nomination for the additional members of the National Executive Committee of the ANC Youth League is still underway here. So, according to some of the officials from the podium, they say that the agreement was that young people should nominate at least 60 people who are going to appear on the ballot. And it is out of those 60 that at least they will vote for 40 additional members of the ANC Youth League's NEC. Now, up to so far, they are at 43. And the problem is that when you nominate someone from the floor, at least 25% of delegates who have been audited and permitted to be here must, 25 of them must kind of like give you permission so that you can meet the threshold for you to be on the ballot. Now that takes time because they must do a head count of the number of people who are agreeing to the nomination of a particular candidate. And it's taking so long because in some instances they would count and somebody would not meet that particular threshold. Now the other dilemma is that there's an agreement that they need to populate this particular NEC with female candidates. Now, it seems as if the delegates are preferring male candidates, and as a result, we also had Thandi Tobias, who is the chairperson of the ANC Youth League's electoral committee, reminding them that they need to nominate women. And as a result, this is just causing a delay. The problem is that the party president, Cyril Ramaphosa, is here. He's been here for more than an hour, and he is not in the plenary. He's still in the holding room, waiting for this process to conclude. There was a suggestion earlier that perhaps this must be halted, this nomination process, and the president must come and address, and they will continue later. But there are young people who are joining me here. I want to speak to them. Her name is Zanele Dlamini. She's from here in Ekurhuleni, Gauteng province. Ma'am, thank you so much. What do you make of this delay? The fact that this is the last day and you guys are still busy nominating. These names must still be tallied and they must be a preparation for a ballot paper, and you must still vote. This might take so long. What do you make of this delay?
All right, thank you very much. Greetings to your viewers. I think it is because of the delays that we had along the day. So some of the delegates, they couldn't eat for the whole day. So now they broke for lunch. So the reason some of the females are not meeting the threshold, it is not because they are not supported. It is because some of the delegates are out already to grab some food where we're eating. And also, on the issue of gender, we're supporting females. We have females that we know that are ready as the ANC Youth League. We are supporting them, and we will come back and vote. And on the issue of ballot, the IEC, after the nominations have been closed, they will go and prepare the ballots. We are ready, and we're still going to stay and be able to vote until the President, Collen Malatji, close the conference. We are here, we're not going to go.
But Zanele, as much as you say that you support female, Thandi Tobias stood there to say, comrades, nominate women, because otherwise the impression she is giving is that the electoral committee will have to impose women if they are not nominated. Now, what is that saying about you particularly as female, to a point that many of the people who are being nominated are males?
I think that is not true, because I think most of the candidates that are nominated now, all of them, they are not reaching threshold, whether male or female. It is because of the reason that I've stated earlier, to say comrades broke for lunch, so they will come back. So after coming back, maybe after the president will come and address us, and then we'll continue with nominations. Therefore, most of our female candidates will be able to reach the threshold.
Do you think you will still have enough time then, after electing the additionals, to discuss key issues? Because commissions, I'm told, haven't said, and it's too late now. Some people still have to travel as far as KZN, the Eastern Cape and other provinces.
I think if you remember very well, our Congress was delayed by a day. It was supposed to start on the 29th, but we couldn't start on the 29th. So I think as delegates of the ANC Youth League, we are ready to stay until we finish the business of the day. Even if it takes us to leave midnight, we will do so. For the sake of the organization, we are willing to stay and finish the business of the day.
Are you happy with the new leadership, particularly the top six?
I'm very happy with the new leadership. I was supporting the newly elected leadership of the ANC Youth League. I'm behind all of them, and we're rallying behind them as the leadership that was elected by us as branch delegates from our various provinces.
All right, thank you so much, Rofiu. I just want to speak to other young people here. Ali Kamil is from Johannesburg here. So thank you so much. There's the issue of representativity here, particularly from the minority groups. Are you happy with the representation at the top level, but also with the nominations for the additional so far?
Yeah, I think, look, the issue of representation is an essential one, because one of the fundamental principles of the ANC Youth League is non-racialism. As the Johannesburg region, we've submitted the name of Comrade Fasia Hassan to represent national groups within the additional members of the NEC. We would like to see more of those nominations coming through. Of course, delegates are ultimately responsible to make sure that that happens. But as Johannesburg, we have submitted the name of Comrade Fasia, and we hope that it will make it through when voting comes.
Have you also discussed among yourselves, perhaps starting from the branch level, the branch nomination, that also the queer community must find expression here? We see in the ANC's National Executive Committee, they did not elect many people from the queer community, to a point that they have even had to co-opt some of them after the election.
Yeah, I think that as the Youth League, we're doing a lot better. We've, from the branches, nominated Comrade Palomino Jama, who is a member of the queer community and an activist, an LGBTQI activist. She has been nominated. She made it through on threshold first time. And we also see the name of Comrade Eugene Manana, who's a member of the community. And we hope that delegates will do the right thing and vote them in. But I think that we, as the Youth League, are doing a lot better than what the ANC has done in its national conference.
Yeah, you guys primarily, as much as you came here to elect new leaders, but that is just one part of the business of Congress. Discussions over key issues that confront young people across the country, joblessness, the issue of crime, and many other issues that ought to be attended to. You really haven't had enough time, really, because commissions haven't said. How would you like to see this discussion over commissions taken forward? Because this is the last day today.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate the delays with registration cost us basically 2 days of Congress. But that doesn't mean that the ideas and the solutions that we're proposing won't necessarily be met, because we have the discussion document that's been presented to Congress. Earlier this morning, they started with the presentation, and I'm sure those discussions will continue. But we also have the option of a National General Council to adopt those things, if it means that we need to go that far. But I'm sure and I'm positive that young people will definitely take that issue of discussing the policies and the policy positions of the Youth League very seriously.
Finally, then, the president of the ANC is going to speak here. Beyond the historical information about the ANC Youth League, the culture and the values and expectations in terms of how you as the members of the Youth League must conduct yourself, what specifically do you want to hear him talk about to address issues that confront young people, beyond the rhetoric?
We want to hear an action plan. We want to hear what the president has envisioned for the young people of this country. But beyond that, we want to hear a commitment from the President that young people will be represented within the ANC itself, but also within government. Because young people in the ANC are ready to take up our space in the governance structures of our country, to take the decision-making into our own hands, because those are the only hands that we can trust at this point.
Let me remind you of one of the commitments the President has made. He once said that the job experience or work experience as a prerequisite for entry-level jobs must be done away with. He has said that repeatedly. I'm not too sure if that has happened. You will tell me. You are a young person, you've got your peers. Has that happened? And if it hasn't happened, why should young people believe that there would be interventions? And how are you going to hold him accountable as members of the ANC Youth League?
I think we have seen that the implementation of the scrapping of entry-level jobs is taking place at a government level. But we would like to see the President put more pressure on the private sector to open up the economy for young people, particularly as it relates to experience. And I think that now that we have an ANC Youth League or an elected ANC Youth League, we will be taking those discussions into the National Executive Committee, and we hope that the young people that are representing us, that we elected here today, that are representing us, will take those discussions seriously into the NEC of the ANC.
Thank you so much. Ali Kamil, a delegate here from the region of Johannesburg. Of course, by the look of things, they are not going to end any time from now. And even if the party president, Cyril Ramaphosa, were to be brought into plenary to address them, they still need to vote. And because in this case, voting for the additionals is not as straightforward as voting for the top 6 nationals, in this case, it would take long to tally and count the votes. And another difficulty is that the electoral committee must still balance the issue of gender. Because if you find that the young people would have elected the majority of those people, 40 of them, majority being males, the electoral committee will have to intervene to balance that particular outcome. We wait to see how long this will take.
Yeah, that conversation around inclusivity, gender, minority groups is a very important one, Moloko Moloto, and I suppose we'll see what happens when those nominations are finalized, and also if the President will be patient enough to wait through the entire nomination and voting process. He did arrive quite early. We showed our viewers the visuals earlier on today. He is currently sitting and waiting for the conference delegates to finalize the nomination process into the National Executive Committee, and then, of course, he will be closing the conference proceedings thereafter.